You're now listening to Sound Talent Media. Check out more shows at soundtalentmedia.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Chris Fafalius, and I'm the producer of Krista Makes a Podcast and the host of the One Hit Thunder podcast.
And I'm Matt Kelly, host of Horror Movie Night and the producer / the head of content for the Geekscape Podcasting Network.
Between the two of us, we have, believe it or not, 25 years of podcasting experience, and we want to help you start your own podcast.
We know podcasting, and we want to share that knowledge with you.
So whether you're new to podcasting or you want some feedback on your currently active podcast, we want to help.
Or perhaps you're just overwhelmed with all of the editing work. Well, we can help you with that also.
You can contact us at info@weknowpodcasting.com for more information.
We're excited to help your podcasting dreams become a reality.
All you ladies pop your pussy like this. Shake your body, don't stop, don't miss. All you ladies pop your pussy like this. Shake your body, don't stop, don't miss. Just do it.
In 2002, the radio was filled by the heavily edited sounds of Khia. This week, we are joined by Fright School host Joe Fejeran to discuss the mega hit My Neck, My Back and dive into a deeper discussion about the history of filthy hip-hop. Is Khia's song a vulgar party anthem and nothing more? Or is it just the tip of the iceberg for a talented female rapper?
My neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack. My neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack.
One hit is all you need to make the money guaranteed, and you can live off royalties forever. And it makes me wonder, is it just a wonder, or is it one hit thunder?
So, Joe, you came in hot today with your pick, I gotta say.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, we're doing Khia, My Neck, My Back, and this song is an absolute heater. I gotta say, this song, I'm all about this song, and I gotta say, I didn't really know this song that well at the time it came out, but like going back and listening to this and diving into the Khia catalog, it's awesome, man. Especially now more than ever. I love the sex positive songs performed by women. This song rules.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's just be real, right? Like, if it was not for My Neck, My Back, like, My Neck, My Back crawled so that, like, WAP could run.
Exactly.
Right? Like, you can draw a direct through line from My Neck, My Back to this. And again, like, even prior to that, you have Lil Kim, How Many Licks? You have Monifa, Touch It. Like, you have your, like, quote unquote campy hip hoppy like sex songs, like that Ludacris song, Fantasy. What's your fantasy?
Yeah, exactly. To be fair, like men have been doing those forever. So like, you know, when women do them, you know, you have that certain section of people that are going to clutch their pearls and be like super offended by it. But I think it's awesome.
No, absolutely. And yeah, it's just, it's like, okay, I'm going to listen to this song. And like, I won't be able to sing out loud like most of the lyrics,
right?
without being thrust into like a moral quandary. But you know, it's just one of those things where it's just like, I don't think that we would have like hits today without songs like this. And again, it's just like, you know, when you there's always a place for songs, and that's kind of why I love like one hit wonders. So it's just like you put so much out there, like something's gonna stick, and then you know maybe it launches your career,
right.
Or maybe it does, or maybe it doesn't.
Right. You know, the thing about this song too, and the same thing with WAP, is like from a musical standpoint, from the beat to the delivery of the lyrics and everything, I think they're great songs. You know, if this song sucked and it was just, you know, raunchy lyrics, I'd be like, oh, that song sucks. But the fact of the matter is that these songs have great beats and the flow and delivery is great. And so it's a combination of both things. Like, yeah, there might be people out there that are focusing on these very sexually explicit lyrics and frowning upon them. But the fact of the matter is these are great songs regardless of the lyrics.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like the radio play that My Neck, My Back got when it came out was kind of like, if you think about it, like it's a little bit insane because I don't know. I mean, I just think about like early 2000s being like, you know, we got Bush, we got 9/11, we got like at the same time, it's like, you know, proud to be American. And then like 5 minutes
Right.
later, it's My Neck, My Back. At least that's how it was on the radio station that I listened to growing up.
Yeah. What radio station played Lee Greenwood and then Khia back to back?
I know, right? It's just so I think I mentioned this every time I talk about something from like my childhood. I always have to preface it with like I grew up on Guam in the middle of the Pacific, and like I really didn't listen to like the radio, like what you would call like today's hits type radio, until maybe I was in like end of 5th, beginning of 6th grade. And then I was like, okay, so this is cool. I'll put the radio on, and then I'll become like that kid who loves listening to like songs on the radio. It's where like my love of pop music comes from. And that took me a lot of time to kind of reconcile. But also like what was just really popular growing up. And then like all of like middle school into high school was just like, you know, this really kind of like radio worthy hip hop rap music, right? So like I have like very strong memories tied to like early Missy Elliott,
hell yeah,
Trick Daddy, all of that stuff. And so then when you get into like, I remember clearly listening to this track by the like amazing Khia and thinking like, what is she saying? I have no, like, you know, clutching my metaphorical pearls as it were. And then listening to the uncensored track much later and being like, oh my goodness, that's what she was saying.
Right. Hey, and the censored version, which I didn't even find the censored version. So what was My Neck, My Back? And it was kind of just like would she go like, huh? Or something like that?
She made noises. Like, you know, it was like my neck, my back, my and my like
okay,
which you know, I mean, like if anyone has ever, you know, been stimulated in those areas, I mean, maybe those noises sound accurate, but it'd be like, you know, like my ooh and my like, oh. That's
nice.
Somewhere out there, listener out there, if you are really good at editing, please make a censored version of My Neck, My Back using the noises I just made and then tag me in it.
Right. A lot of times on here we'll go through the lyrics, but I think we're gonna bypass that that part. Maybe we could pick out a few here. The thing about it is, once again, as funny as they are in a way, it's only that way because we as a society are so backwards about sex and our sexual organs. You know, like it's only our puritanical roots that are making us feel weird about this at all. But to be honest, some of them are pretty funny. The one that made me laugh when I was like following along was so hot in the line on cream with a unit on my face, so mean. I like that line, and especially that's like one of the few lines I feel like I can get away with reciting on the podcast. But you know, honestly, she doesn't shy away one bit from singing about her pussy, and you know, now more than ever. You know, we brought up WAP already, obviously. If Khia's listening, she's probably like, I don't know if she's like, you know, that was me. I'm the one who opened the door for that. And then Lil' Kim could probably say that to her. And then Madonna and fucking, there's a lot of other artists that could say that before them who opened the door, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing, like, you know, Khia being like, what, I think from Tampa, like from Florida, of course, Florida.
Right.
But also like, you know, again, Trina, the baddest bitch, like she's also like... And then, so this like was like my gateway into kind of that like really kind of raunchy, like female rap from early 2000s. Cause then we get, you know, How Many Licks. I was like, okay, now I'm going down the How Many Licks road. Now I'm going down to like Trina, the baddest bitch, who has like one of the more shocking lyrics that I've ever heard in a song. And so it's just like, you know, all of this to like, you know, get back to, I mean, like, why do you, I think people wonder like why Megan Thee Stallion, why Cardi B are so popular right now. It's been like, oh yeah, it's because like they, you know, folks from like our generation who remember Khia, who remember Trina and Lil' Kim are just like, yeah, these are girls that we know. Plus, they like grew up with that music. So, you know, you're seeing them being hugely influenced by that.
Do you think there's any, I thought, as soon as I heard WAP, I kind of thought this. Is it sort of like a reaction to what's going on in the country? You have this sort of pendulum swing of this like right-wing thinking, which we're seeing it swing back the other way, thank goodness. I'm hoping this is a death rattle of that, but you have this sort of like way of thinking that is like, I don't know, sort of trying to hold that down, to hold women down, and is this a pushback against that? Is this a pushback against that way of thinking, or is it just something that's is sex always going to sell? Is that what it is? I don't know.
Yes, I think on the surface of it, looking at it from the outside and just thinking specifically as the music as an industry and what can and cannot sell, like absolutely yes, sex will sell 100% all the time. And if you think about the time period in which My Neck, My Back comes out, in the lyrics, she's talking, like, she is making it very clear that, like, you need to also please me. Like,
right.
This is not, like, you know, again, you had, like, Fantasy come out, you have a lot of, like, very specific, like, you know, Snoop and Ain't No Fun, and, like, you know, you have all of these songs, especially within rap and within popular music, coming out about, like, from the male gaze and from male-centered pleasure. And then you have you know, you have Khia come out with a very explicit song about, like, don't stop doing it until, like, I come, like, not just my neck and my back, but, you know, lick the front and, you know, like my pussy and my, you know, whatever. So it's just I mean, it's like, and it's also like it's kind of calling that out. It's kind of saying, like, okay, like, you reminding women that their pleasure also needs to be at the forefront.
Right.
Which is very, I mean, at its, you know, if I really want to read into it, I'm like, yes, that's very empowering. And especially in an industry, you know, specifically speaking about, like, hip hop and rap music that has, like, that's also a lot of fraught conversations about misogyny.
Yeah.
Like, it's good to have this song come out and this kind of, like, lyrics, and it's like, no, I'm gonna hit you with it. I'm like, you know, I'm not only am I gonna please, like, the hell out of you, but, like, you are also going to make sure that I get mine. And then when you come to, like, WAP, like, you know, drawing the straight line all the way through to 2020's WAP, I definitely think that, like, that is a direct response to, like, what the kind of quote unquote right wing, like, news cycle, like, outrage culture is all about. You know, right. Like, you just think about, like, Cardi B's political activism and how vocal she is on her social media. Same thing with Megan Thee Stallion, especially within Black culture spaces. And then you have them come out, like, in the middle of a pandemic doing, like, wet ass pussy. And it's like, huh.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I think it's a little bit of both. Like, we're always going to want to do it. Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion are also, like, super hyper aware of who the fan base is. And I mean, Megan had a hit in 2019 with Hot Girl Summer, like, and that was a thing. And so, like, they hyper aware, but, like, they are truly making it as, like, a response, and, you know, to get people super outraged about it. I don't know necessarily. I mean, I can't speak to Khia's intention, and I can't speak to what she believes her legacy is with My Neck, My Back, because she went on to continue to make more music. Again, not as, in my opinion, not as catchy and not as rich as My Neck, My Back. But, you know, I think that both things of what you're saying are true.
Yeah, and hey, when you're talking about female empowerment in the conversation here, you can look at Khia's backstory, which I thought was just a perfect story of that. Is that, you know, she was born in Philadelphia, born and raised, moved to Tampa at age 11, got expelled from high school in 9th grade, had her first child at 14, and then she moved to Hawaii. And then she had her second child there, and she had to, you know, bartend to make ends meet. And then she releases this album, Thug Misses. That's the album, has My Neck, My Crack on it. Mm-hmm. Wrote the song in 15 minutes, is what she told MTV News anyway, and had a hit song. Like, that's pretty empowering, because I don't know, to have a kid at 14, that's very, very young. That seems like life is going to be a struggle to mm-hmm. already have to have that responsibility at 14, you know, and to have been expelled from school and to try to make things happen. It's kind of like it's a great story, man. And she's had a long career. I mean, yeah, My Neck, My Back was her only, hit that the average person is going to know. But I don't know. I kind of disagree with you. When I dug into her music a little more, she had a song from, I think it was more recent. It's called Yum Yum Sauce, which is basically, I listened to it because first of all, I like Yum Yum Sauce. When you go to a hibachi place, it's like the pinkish sauce, that you dip your vegetables or whatever in. And
was it about that, Chris?
Close. It was actually about her pussy.
Oh, of course, yes.
But it was also a great song. Like the beat was great, the chorus was awesome. She has another song called Next Caller that I really feel like in My Neck, My Back. Like as far as like the actual rap verses, I feel like it's okay. Her flow's okay. And I feel like there's some lines that she really forces the syllables into the line and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, but this song Next Caller, if you check it out, like her flow is awesome. Like she's actually a really good rapper. Basically what I'm getting at is she's more than just like the outrageous sexual lyrics. I think she's actually pretty talented. So I was pretty inspired when I saw her story and then, dug into her catalog and was like, yeah, she's actually pretty good.
I'm going to have to give it a second chance. I'm all for like a female rapper. I feel like most of the music I listen to is predominantly female artists anyway, or femme-identified artists anyway. So I'm always down to support like a female rapper.
Right. Absolutely. I kind of feel I'm kind of the same way. So many of my, I really gravitate towards pop, I guess, and when it's just so crazy how every artist that I like in the pop world ends up, 99% are females. I love this artist, Verite. Do you know Verite?
Oh, I don't. Do I need to know?
Oh, yes, you need to know. She's just incredible. But also, I love the Ariana Grande and Carly Rae Jepsen and, all these like just over the top, well-produced pop female artists. I just think they're great, So it was no surprise that digging into Khia's catalog that I found a lot of stuff I liked. So I thought this was going to be, honestly, I thought it was going to be one of those things where I dug into the catalog. I'm like, this is unlistenable. but honestly, it wasn't. It was good, man.
Well, not to take away from someone who's going to probably do this on your show in the future, but it sounds like to me that Khia has like the similar trajectory of Khalees. Because Khalees's music post Milkshake is also really good.
Really? I never dug in past Milkshake.
Because I'm just like, okay, well, she was like married to Nas, like she has like that, that royalty behind her. And then, she goes off on another thing. But like I was listening to she still has a really great voice. 'Cause I was listening to a song that's off of the New Disclosure album that she's featured on. It's like it's not the title track, but it's the first single to drop from the New Disclosure album. And it's really good. Like she still has the bars.
Right. Well, I guess it makes sense. I should have known that Nas, who for my money is top 3 rappers ever, if not the best, that he would have been in a relationship with somebody that also wasn't a talent. He was, so that makes sense to me. I'm gonna have to dig into Khalees too. I didn't even know.
Yeah, and again, not to take away from future episodes, but
right. No. Hey, what's funny about this song too is you brought up like around the time it came out. So we're about a year after 9/11 when this song came out. And when I'm looking at like what else is in the charts, it's pretty wild because to think about this song being with these songs, which are 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton, The Middle by Jimmy World, and Complicated by Avril Lavigne. Like these just...
Oh my God.
Yeah, so many like pop rock gems. And then you throw this right in there with it. Maybe this was a little bit of a response to that too. You had these like just over the top sugary G-rated songs for lack of a better way to put it. And then you just, this could have been just a reaction to that as well.
Ready for a head-bangingly good time? Dive into the world of heavy metal with the Brutally Delicious podcast. Here, we don't just talk music. We welcome you into our heavy metal family. Join us for candid chats with legends and rising stars. We go beyond the typical interviews, exploring raw emotions and the life-altering impact of heavy metal. So whether you're a diehard metalhead or just curious, join our family and let the headbanging begin with the Brutally Delicious podcast.
Hey there, I am Johnny Christ from Avenged Sevenfold, and I've got a podcast called Drinks with Johnny you're going to want to check out. I sit down with a bunch of different people from all different walks of life, from professional wrestlers to actors, comedians, fighters, musicians, everything in between. I'm just looking to make some friends and have a good time doing it. So if that sounds like something you're into, go check out Drinks with Johnny, streaming everywhere now.
Oh my gosh, complicated and 1,000 miles. Oh
yeah. Yeah, as sugary as it gets.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get any more sugary than that. Can you just imagine, like, say again, top 40, listening to top 40 radio, and it's like, you know, that opening piano riff, and then all of a sudden, all your ladies pop, y'all like that.
Yeah. Trying to make sense of it, I don't know. There's 1,000 reasons why this song could have caught on. You know, being outrageous definitely catches people's attention. And the perfect example, you know, WAP, we keep talking about WAP, but there is one recently that I don't know if you heard, and I feel like it's already gone, but it for a few days there was like friends were texting it to me, and then I saw, I was like, oh my God, this song is like #1 on iTunes right now. I thought this was just something that like friends of mine found, but there was this country song called Dick Down in Dallas.
What?
You don't know about Dick Down in Dallas?
No.
Dude, you got to check this song out. It's like, it's funny too, because I even forget the name of the artist now. It wasn't like a famous artist, but he made he's a country artist, like a pop country artist, who the rest of his songs are completely normal pop country songs. But he has a song called Dick Down in Dallas. Like, she's getting dick down in Dallas.
Oh, God.
And like one of the lines is like, anal in Austin, fuck down in Boston, or something along those lines. And it was just so outrageous and so unexpected that everyone who heard it just loved it. And it was huge, and just everyone was like sending it to their friends for a week or two there. This was like a couple months ago, and now it's gone. All right. It's already like,
my God,
it ran its course, but it cut through because it was outrageous, you know, and there's something to be said for that too. I just don't know at what point are overly sexual things not going to be outrageous anymore. Like it's not like we haven't heard these things a million times. We all, you know, we've all been hearing these things. I guess just it's when something outrageous also becomes mainstream, and then you think about your mom listening to it, or your grandma hearing it by accident or something like that. I guess that's what makes it outrageous.
That's such a good thing to think about, right? Because it's like, okay, we like, given what's been on television, like given everything, like we really shouldn't be surprised about like the radio play of WAP, or even the radio play of Dick Down in Dallas, which I will listen to immediately after this
it's
recording.
Ridiculous.
It's so fascinating because like when you think about music now, like there is so much, like radio stations are almost insignificant because are approaching like being obsolete, because you can have such a rich life outside of it. Like it's about the Spotify algorithm and having songs under 3 minutes, so that way the more plays you get and all this kind of things. And then you have like your YouTube drop, your social media presence. I think we like learned this a little bit from Lil Nas X. It's really fascinating how things can just grow so much that like the radio station is forced to play it because it's so ubiquitous, and in some cases so suffocating that it's like, okay, well now I have to play this because it's what people are listening to outside of this, which, you know, you got to think is a really cool thing, especially for people who are, you know, we're living in the age of like people who are creating their own content independently. It's also really fascinating because like I remember like listening to the radio and just thinking like, oh my God, like that was the pinnacle of what you could achieve, was like a song on the radio randomly I just think about like that Selena scene in the movie where like she hears her song for the first time on the radio,
Right.
and it's like that's like the pinnacle of what you can achieve, and that's not anymore. Like you can definitely have significant notoriety being online only. I mean, like I think I saw this meme last year where it was like, we haven't experienced WAP yet safely in a like club setting yet.
Wow.
So it's like, can you imagine like if the WAP has all of this power right now, can you imagine what that's going to be like when we're able to like, you know, when we're all vaccinated and we're like partying in the clubs, and it's just like, you know, that like opening bass riff, and then like the support and the task, and then everyone goes, oh, like I desperately long for those moments.
Joe, I'm not gonna lie, you just gave me chills.
Well, just
thinking about that moment, the first time I hear that, like in a public setting where people are drunk and partying, oh man, that is going to be like the official end of COVID. That'll be the alarm.
Exactly. It'll be like, oh, it'll be that moment. And then like, I just also like that applies to like every big hit from last year,
right?
With all of the Dua Lipa songs, with oh my God, like, you know, as like a homosexual, like I have like yet to dance to Chromatica in a club, and I'm like desperate to dance to Rain on Me with Ariana Grande in like a club setting, and not in my room.
Yeah. Oh, that's the first time I thought about that. How, you know, and you can go as far with clubs, but also like any songs that have been released that haven't been performed live at a concert.
Oh,
and things
my
like
gosh.
that.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like we could talk forever about this, but it is okay. So what I was touching on a little bit is it's surprising that the sexual nature of a song could even be shocking at this point. If you think about even like the 90s, we had Snoop Dogg and we had, very sexual popular music. It wasn't just rap. It was a Red Hot Chili Peppers album that had like some of the super sexual songs on it and things like that. So how 30, 40 years later from this type of stuff is anything shocking? And 30 or 40 years from now, especially when we're not even beholden to soon, I feel like it's going to be irrelevant, like cable television and like, you know, we all have Netflix and HBO Go and Hulu, and those things you could put whatever on there. I mean, yeah, you don't have hardcore pornography on there, but you do have like basically anything you want to see. I mean, watch Game of Thrones, watch whatever. Yeah. And so at what point are all of these puritanical sort of like ideas about, I mean, it's mostly sex. Like I could almost see the arguments against like violent stuff. Like not that I'm for censorship really at all. I feel like adults should be able to watch whatever they want, but like I could maybe see the argument against violence as opposed to like the sexual stuff. The sexual stuff is just, I don't know, stuff that we've been accustomed to for so long, but just certain swaths of the population haven't been accepting of it yet, the way in that sort of like European way yet, you know? And I don't know when that's going to happen.
I mean, well, like everyone, barring if you're like asexual, everyone's gonna fuck, right? Like everyone has the potential to, you know, go and, you know, have sex with someone else or themselves. But like not everybody is going to be in a situation that's called for violence. So like I also too don't understand why like something that affects literally everybody, it's how everybody got here. For the most part, is like still so like we're at this place where it's still so taboo. I mean, like I feel like it's getting better. And especially with like the streaming ecosystem and not being beholden to really them being their own censors, as it were, because it's like, you know, okay, if you make it this is not going to play for X amount of people, and knowing all of that. But like still, you know, I mean, like I binged Bridgerton in a day, so it's just like it was like a really horny show, and I did not expect it to be. And so again, like we're also in that space where it's like we're slowly approaching that. But I think as long as we still have those swaths of people who are you know, especially like actively in politics and working towards government control of reproductive rights and all of these things, like we're going to have that. I mean, I don't need to bring this up, but I mean, like Ben Shapiro's whole thing about like, you know, his wife's a doctor and she doesn't have a WAP. And it's like, okay, well, I wouldn't brag about that, but whatever.
Yeah, what the hell? That's what that is. I've seen like a lot of like memes about that, but I never really like investigated what the deal was. I just assumed it was like that he was such an unattractive dork. But that's what that is? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he's like, I think he said like on air, he like told on himself in like the best way. It was like, okay, well, like my wife's a doctor and like, you know, she said that, you know, hers doesn't do that. I'm like, okay, well, maybe she's, maybe something's wrong.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, like, you know, we have this, like, we're in the TikTok generation. So then you have, like, I saw a TikTok of, like, a guy who is an actual, like, gynecologist who was dancing to WAP, but was also saying, like, you know, if your pussy's overly wet, like, it could be, you know, different. And then the one thing I really want to mention, too, with going back to Khia and My Neck, My Back, is the fact that, like, she is actively out here like discussing like analingus, like my neck, my back, my pussy, and my crack, and it's like and in that order, because like, you know, crack and then pussy, probably not the best situation, but like, you know, in that order. And it's like, we don't get that. Like, you know, I can probably tell you like maybe 5 or 10 different like gay artists who do, you know, like, you know, who are like popular in like the gay space, you know, a la Big Dipper, a la Caswell. But like Khia is out here, like had this like hit song that was just like, you know, everything, do it, like do it all.
Oh yeah, I guess I wasn't thinking about that angle of maybe what was shocking about the song. Maybe that was the first. Yeah, I guess before Khia, I can't think of a song that discussed that particular topic. I'm even trying to think of like the dirty male rap songs. I don't even necessarily remember any of those. It was always just like suck my dick. Like that was like the main thing. Like, but yeah. Okay.
Which how limiting, right? How limiting to just be like, oh, you're gonna suck my dick. I'm like, okay, well, Khia just named like 5 different things that you could do to her. And it's just like, you're just sad because you only can think to do that. And it's like, oh no, you're gonna lick my neck, my back, my pussy, like, all of it.
Right. Oh, hey, I got to back up a second. I did think of somebody who was doing it, and this is a very polarizing group, but I know who's been singing about that stuff and rapping about that stuff since I was 11 years old. Shout out to all my juggalos out there. ICP. ICB have been rapping about their buttholes since like 90. So that's the exception. I got to give ICP a little credit there. But yeah, I mean, I think that if anything, Khia is, you know, opening the doors for what I think maybe the world would be a better place if we could openly talk about and sing about and focus on sex being a positive thing as opposed to violence and hurting other people and being angry and incel culture and all these kind of things. Like maybe we should just be celebrating our bodies a little more in music and not being so puritanical about it. And I'm all about it, man. I think this is a great song. On top of that, take all this stuff aside from a musical sonic perspective. I think the song has a great beat. If this song comes on at a playlist and I've had a few drinks, I'm going to be, depending on how many drinks I have, I'm either going to be bobbing my head or I'm going to be out there on the dance floor doing some kind of weird dance to this.
Yeah, it's like, oh yes, I feel it. I feel it all. Like I'm doing this thing with my shoulders right now. I feel it. And listen to the uncensored version. Like I have such an aversion to anything censored, and I think it's because like I listened, like my beginning of my life was all about like all my like pop music listening life was all about the radio, and so there was so much the censored stuff that when I finally heard the uncensored version, I was like, why is this censored? And I'm like, oh okay, well then you get into censorship and Nancy Reagan and all that bullshit, but like I like listen to the uncensored version. So, dear listener, if you have never listened to, which I'm sure you have, but like if you've never heard like the full unedited like My Neck My Back, go do yourself a favor. I didn't know that still existed. I had a friend who when Britney Spears's Work Bitch came out, I put it on. I was like driving with a friend, and she was like one of my like goody friends, and we were singing it, and then when it came to the part where I was like, you better work bitch, she said the censored lyric, and I was
which
like,
is what?
Which is you
what?
Better work.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I was like, what? She's like, what, Joe? And I'm like, yeah, the song is called Work Bitch. And it's like, oh, I didn't know like it had it in the lyrics. I'm like, no, like you want a hot body, you want a Bugatti, you want a Maserati, you better work, bitch.
Nice. Yeah. That is funny. Like when you don't realize that the censored version is the censored version. Oh, that's saying the same line. Oh, what song? It's not that one. There's another song too that does that thing where they just say the same word again. Oh, it's going to drive me crazy. I know after the fact I'm going to remember what it is too. But yeah, that's pretty funny.
WAP does like, it just says wet and gushy.
Which is worse. Which is worse. That is so much worse. I love, that is actually impressive, Joe, to say something not necessarily vulgar that's actually worse.
Yeah, I'm just like, ooh, like, and then, but it's also like, then you put it in people's heads. It's like, she's saying wet and gushy, but why is it a P? Why is it not wag or wog?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, Joe, this has been really great. We always, look, I don't even think we need to do this. At the end of every episode, we decide if the song was a one-hit blunder, meaning this shouldn't have happened, or if the artist brought the one-hit thunder, which part of that is digging deeper into the catalog. And you and I had a little bit of a difference of opinion on that, meaning you didn't really think her catalog, the rest of her catalog, reflected the greatness of this song. Whereas I dug in, I kind of thought some of those other songs, Yum Yum Sauce, highly recommended. Also, highly recommend Next Caller. I think some of these songs also stand up there. But what I'm getting at is whether this was a one-hit blunder or if it brought the one-hit thunder. I vote Thunder, obviously. And
Thunder, absolutely, 100%.
Hell yeah. Thanks a lot for coming on, Joe. And also, before we go, do you want to talk about your podcast for a second? I was hearing all about it, and I feel like it's a great topic for a podcast.
Sure. So my podcast is called Fright School, and Fright School is basically, for the last couple of years, my friend Joshua, who is a lifelong horror fan, has been showing me horror movies that I've never seen. When we started, I hadn't seen basically any of the classic horror films, and now I've seen like over 140 something. So each week we talk about it's usually a movie that I've not seen or haven't seen in a long time, and we talk a little bit about like the social, cultural significance of it, what was going on in the culture at the time, what the movie is trying to say about culture. Please give it a listen. We are on all the streaming all of your iTunes and Spotify, Google Play, all of that stuff. And we also have great memes at Fright School on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey, quick question before I let you go. Not to make you have to rank things, but of these 140 some movies that you've watched, what has been your favorite and what has been your least favorite of them?
Oh, that's easy. I think my standard answer for my favorite lately has been Jennifer's Body.
Okay.
Mainly because it's just a way to get the conversation rolling on how awesome and underrated of a film it is. I also like, I think it's really easy to choose like The Exorcist or Silence of the Lambs and, more kind of quote unquote horror prestige. But I usually go with Jennifer's Body. I probably will reevaluate that in the coming year because I feel like Get Out is like right underneath that. As far as my least favorite film, this French movie from like 2000, I think it was 2003 or maybe 2007 actually, but it's French Extremity. It's called Intérieur, but it's Inside is what it's called. And, you know, I don't do well with violence for no reason. And there's a lot of violence in here, and it's like for seemingly no reason. It was one of the more shocking. It was the first film where Joshua like looked at me as we were watching it, because we used to be able to watch movies together. He looked at me and he was like, this next part, you don't have to, like, you can cover your eyes.
Okay.
I was like, oh, like that's saying a lot coming from you. For me. I think it was the most difficult film at the time. But then, you know, after that, it's just, you know, it's just all blood and guts after that. But I think, Inside is probably one of my least favorite. And then they made an American version of it that came out like maybe 2 or 3 years ago that I'm kind of curious about to see what they kept, because the French version is just so banana sandwich for me.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, hey, thanks a lot again for coming on. Everybody check out Fright School, and hell yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
This has been One Hit Thunder. One Hit Thunder is hosted by Chris Fafalios of the bands Punchline Pack and Another Cheetah, and produced by Matt Kelly of Geekscape.net. Underneath me, you're hearing Don't Try This at Home off the Punchline album 37 Everywhere. Matt and Chris are excited to announce our new company, We Know Podcasting. If you've always wanted to host a podcast but didn't know how to get started, wanted feedback on your current podcast, or just need someone to edit your shows, we're here to help. Contact us at info@weknowpodcasting.com for rates and services. Let us know your thoughts on the show by emailing us at onehitthunderpodcast@gmail.com, and make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting apps. Tune in next week for another episode of One Hit Thunder.
Show.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.
Ready for a head-bangingly good time? Dive into the world of heavy metal with the Brutally Delicious podcast. Here, we don't just talk music. We welcome you into our heavy metal family. Join us for candid chats with legends and rising stars. We go beyond the typical interviews, exploring raw emotions and the life-altering impact of heavy metal. So whether you're a diehard metalhead or just curious, join our family and let the headbanging begin with the Brutally Delicious podcast.
What's up, everybody? I am Finn McKenty, host of the Punk Rock NBA podcast, part of the Sound Talent Media podcast network. My podcast is all about doing what you love for a living, and every week I sit down and talk to people who have done exactly that. For example, musicians like Tommy from Between the Buried and Me, Matt from Periphery, Lil Lotus and Shinigami, among many others, photographers, artists, designers, YouTubers like Glenn Fricker and Sarah Dici, and I unpack exactly how they got to where they are today with the goal of helping you do the same. So if that sounds cool, you can listen and subscribe at soundtalentmedia.com, and I'll see you there.